One night, a mercenary army was transporting a prisoner, an official who had performed the corrupt conduct. Their car was obstructed on the road by an elevator truck. Two members then got out of the car to investigate, but they were both slain by a masked man. Other army men met the same fate. They were all executed one by one, including the final one in charge of guarding the hostage. The masked man then got into the car and approached the prisoner, confirming that the hostage was the one he was seeking for before killing him. It was later revealed that this individual was an international hitman named Scott Walker, and the hostage was his primary target. When Walker stepped out of the automobile, he discovered that one remaining soldier had managed to flee. Unfortunately, as Walker removed his mask, the soldier saw Walker's face, and when he discovered it, he promptly reported it to his organization. The organization's agents then dispatched individuals to fetch him up. Walker ended up at the Reassignment Center, a unique hideout for disturbed professional hitmen. According to the narrative, following the escape of a witness who had seen his face, Walker would hide here for a bit while waiting for the procedure of having his new identity checked. Walker was then led to a separate room by a man named Smith. He then turned over everything from his previous identity, from identification documents to his telephone number. In the same room was a hitman named John, who was criticizing and striking an officer of the organization at the time. Walker attempted to defend the cop after witnessing the incident, but Smith forbade him since he did not want Walker to get into problems again. The process of replacing Walker's new identity continued with the scanning of his fingerprint structure, and Walker then proceeded to his hiding dormitory. There were numerous hitmen in hiding as well. Walker's gaze was drawn to two women, identified as Julia and Elda, on his way to his room. The scenario then shifts to introduce us to three hitmen, Ray, Maria, and Tom. Logan assigned this armed force to carry out a major killing in order to kidnap a woman. We return to the reassignment center as Smith slid an envelope into Walker's room. Later, Smith went to meet Michelle, a coworker he's had a crush on for a long time but hasn't had the bravery to declare his thoughts to until now. Shortly after Michelle left, the group led by Ray arrived at the reassignment center, which turned out to be the location of the massacre. Maria was able to take out a guard at the front door. The group then started infiltrating the center. The packet Walker got contained a pendant necklace with a photo of a little girl, Walker's daughter, who died decades ago, but it has not been disclosed what happened to her, but seeing the photo of his daughter undoubtedly made him sad. Meanwhile, Elder sneaked into the documents storage room and took the spared key to room 39, Walker's room. Meanwhile, Ray's squad has taken possession of the security monitor room, after which they hack into the CCTV, destroy the network, and restrict access to the entry and exit. Smith, who was listening to music, was unaware of the approach of Ray's crew, which began to invade the dormitory. When Smith emerged from his room, he was astounded to discover the body of a security guard. When he discovered an intruder had entered the premises, he activated the emergency alarm. Walker, who was still depressed, ignored the warning. Elder and Juliet then visited his room shortly after. Elder requested Walker for assistance because they were both in danger, but Walker declined because he didn't know either Elder or Juliet. Elder then revealed that she too was a hitman and knew Walker. Walker, on the other hand, was unconcerned. Elder was disappointed, so she rushed to take Juliet away. An intruder entered the room shortly after they both left and attempted to attack Walker. Walker thankfully was able to deflect the attack and kill down the intruder. Walker understood that the reassignment center was no longer safe, so he went to Elder's chamber where she had also eliminated an intruder. Other intruders soon appeared, and Elder emerged to fight. Walker was still hesitant to assist at first, but he finally acted since he couldn't face the thought of Elder struggling on her alone. Later, Elder and Juliet attempted to sneak out of the reassignment center and head to the weapons storage room, but they were almost discovered by two of the intruders. However, Walker emerged in time and saved them both. Meanwhile, Smith emerged from his hiding location. Finally, the three of them arrived at the weapons storage room, but Walker couldn't find the key to the weapons cabinet. Soon after, Smith arrived looking terrified. Unfortunately, Smith had the key to the gun cabinet. While they were selecting their weapons, they heard the sound of intruders entering the room, and when they all arrived, a fight was unavoidable. Fortunately, Elder and Walker were able to defeat their opponents. However, Smith was killed in the fight, and Walker was severely injured. They then all went to the hospital. Walker then inquired of Elder as to what had occurred. Elder was a hitman for a mafia group that conducts a people trafficking operation, according to new information. Juliet was about to be sold along with the other hostages when Elder's boss, Logan, fell in love with her and decided to make her his mistress until she became pregnant with Logan's child. To cut a long story short, a customer meant to purchase Juliet and her kid for a very high price, and Logan, who was sick of Juliet, was enticed by the offer. Elder, being a lady with a conscience, could not take seeing Juliet handled so inhumanly by Logan, therefore she assisted Juliet in fleeing Logan's headquarters. Logan eventually tracked out Elder and Juliet, who were currently at the reassignment center. Ray's gang was then entrusted with capturing Juliet and handing her over to Logan alive. Elder went to the security monitor room shortly after that to collect the signal that Ray's crew had destroyed so they could ask for aid. Despite being injured, Elder managed to enter the security monitor room after paralyzing several of Ray's guys. Meanwhile, Ray became enraged when he realized that many of his men had been killed, and Maria and Tom were eventually assigned to complete their task. When the signal was restored, Walker, Elder, and Juliet headed to a room to seek for a phone set, but they were met with Ray's men once more. We cut to Maria, who comes across 3 hitmen hiding at the bottom. Maria assigned them the task of bringing down Walker and Elder for a hefty fee. A hitman named Roy arrived out of nowhere and opened fire recklessly. A shootout ensued until he ran out of bullets. Walker approached him at that precise moment and shot Roy to death. Ray's group commander was eventually assassinated. Walker and his companions arrived in the telephone room, but there was already a hitman waiting for them. Walker then used a smoke bomb to fool the hitman into leaving the room. Walker and Elder then crept inside, but the hitman reappeared and hit Elder on the head, knocking her unconscious. He then faced Walker, who was completely outmatched by the well-built hitman. Juliet then attempted to assist Walker, but her attempts were futile. Elder, who had regained her senses, fought the hitman, and in the midst of the conflict between Elder and her opponent, Walker stood up and smashed the hitman to death. Walker immediately phoned the group and requested that assistance be sent to them as quickly as possible. It was unfortunate that they were out of weapons, especially because the weapons storage room was in the opposite building and the headquarters was still encircled by Ray's squad, which may launch an unexpected attack. They hadn't a choice except to slip back inside the weapons storage area. When they arrived at the weapons storage location, they discovered it was guarded by a hitman named Rocky. Walker then purposely diverted Rocky to another location, allowing Elder and Juliet unimpeded access to the arsenal. However, they were stopped in the middle of their journey by a hitman named Ryan. Meanwhile, Walker and Rocky began sparring with their bare fists. Rocky was able to easily take down Walker, who was already fatigued. We move on to Elder, who gave Juliet the signal to flee while she attempted to fight Ryan. Unfortunately, Elder is stabbed by Ryan. The duel between Rocky and Walker was still going on, but this time Walker was in command, and he eventually killed Rocky. Meanwhile, Ryan, who was about to kill Elder, turned to chasing Walker to the car park, unaware that he had stepped right into Walker's trap. Walker blew up a car while Ryan was nearby. Ryan was killed in the automobile explosion. Elder then arrived and stabbed him. Maria trailed Juliet as she made her way to the armory. Maria searched the warehouse for Juliet, who was hiding. Maria eventually apprehended Juliet. Walker arrived at the armory to see that his new identity, as well as a bag of cash, had been successfully produced. Walker was distraught after many of his innocent colleagues were killed by Ray's crew. Then Elder appeared and informed him that Juliet had been kidnapped by Ray's crew. Walker, who was saddened, was hesitant to join Elder in saving Juliet. Elder then asked Walker if he could stomach it if Juliet died like his wife and daughter. Elder appears to be familiar with Walker's past. Walker's wife and children were murdered decades ago by his adversaries, a mafia group that also operates a people trafficking business. Walker, on the other hand, remained unconcerned, believing that saving Juliet was none of his business. Finally, Elder went to Juliet's aid on her own. Walker discovered a necklace belonging to his deceased daughter while on his way out of the reassignment center. Finally, it knocks on Walker's heart door to save Juliet. Elder was watching Maria and Ray as they prepared to hand off Juliet to Logan. Elder emerged and attacked them just as they were ready to depart. Her efforts, however, were futile. Walker appeared out of nowhere and fought Ray as he was ready to murder Elder. They then fought a battle, while Elder also had a duel with Maria at the same time. Walker, who was already weary, appeared to be overrun against Ray, while Elder quickly finished Maria. Elder attempted to assist Walker after finishing Maria. Ray was eventually killed by his own car, which Juliet was driving. Walker's organizational colleagues arrived at the location where they were around the same time. Walker then gave Juliet the money he had saved for her child's birth, and then he received a call from his organization, which would give him his first mission under his new guise. However, before embarking on his new job, Walker must execute one more mission on his behalf. Kill Logan, because Juliet and Elder can only be safe if Logan dies. To cut a long story short, Walker arrives at Logan's headquarters and quickly murders him. Elder and Juliet finally live happily ever after at the end of the novel.